Took a break today, got a lot done. Had some appointments to take care of. I'd say all is good. All through the morning, especially when I was working on some stuff in my house, I thought to myself about guitar solos. I thought how amazing they are. I thought like guitar solos are really cool. It's just like a trip down memory lane because I remember when I was a young lad. This was like when I was 16. It was when I was working at like a hardware store in my hometown. And I met this dude, Brian, a really awesome guy. And we were talking about like melodies and stuff. And he was a really, I'm pretty, if he's still alive, he's a really good songwriter and musician. And I was like, we were talking about writing songs. And I was like, I just can't figure out how to write a melody. And he's like, well, you know how to solo, right? I was like, yeah, I can play some solos to the best of my 16-year-old ability. And he's like, that's what a melody is. And it clicked. And I was like, that's so cool. I mean, it's straight, it's a solo's like a melody. You take a melody and you can turn it into something else. It's like a conversation between the musician and the music itself. I mean, it's like where the strings they become the voice, and the fretboard it's stage to dance upon. We all know the solo of any instrument. It's pretty much the moment when the instrument steps forward and speaks without words. Vowels and consonants no longer exist in this realm. It's wicked awesome solos. And solos from rock musicians, country musicians, blues guitarists, metals guitarists, all types of guitarists, except those who are anti-soloists like punk rock or whatever. Anywho, it's a beautiful thing, a guitar solo. It's really amazing. It's it's like every bend you play, every vibrato, every trill or lack thereof, basically whatever you put into it, that's you making that string, that piece of equipment, just you're putting your emotion into it and your heart. That's beautiful. It's just whatever you want to convey with a solo, you got it. It's within you. And it's not just that part in the song where it's time for a solo, unless you're writing music and you're like, hey, you know what, I think this is time for a solo. But it's basically that unfiltered expression, just that you are putting through those strings, that the pickups are picking up from that frequency, and then bam, it's going through a guitar cable, and then it's going through your pedals or your amp, and you're just rocking it out. Whether you're a dude like me right now who's just jamming at home and just whipping out solos, or writing songs and putting like what would sound great. And that's the fun thing too, is when you get into recording, or when you're recording, and people know what I'm talking about, is when you got a really killer rhythm track and you got a really cool song, and you can just lay down solo track after solo track ad nauseum. But it gives you a better understanding of yourself as a musician and as a human being with a beautiful soul. So I mean, that's kind of like what I was thinking about when I was putting up some trim in my kitchen, singing about guitar solos, how beautiful they can be, or how destructive, or I mean, just the expression of it. It's just so awesome. I know it's winter time, but gosh, it feels like autumn out right now, depending on what region you're in. It's like we're supposed to get some snow. I'm really excited. But anyways, that's my little rant about thinking about guitar solos. And I want you to think about I want you to think about like what a guitar solo is to you. Like what you will listen to a song just to hear that guitar solo. For me, I like to go to Television, Marquee Moon for that guitar solo. And from what I've read, because I'm like I will nerd out over that solo. I will try to find any information on how he recorded it. It is the most clean, soaring solo. It's just great. I swear, and I've read, if someone can, confirm for me, like he double tracked it, and then he double tracked that solo to get that clean sound, just note for note. And that's the amazing thing with a solo. If you want to double track it, you're gonna play those notes so they don't get weird when you double track again, but it just adds this soaring sound that's just like, wow, that's the magic that music is. We're more than musicians. We're like wizards. I wouldn't say magicians. We're wizards. Totally. We're wizards, we're warlocks, we're people with a spark in us. And that's not to say we're special. That's just how our brains work and what our brains connect to with our souls. We just see things differently. So be humbled with that. Be proud of that, and apply it to other parts of your life as well. If you like to build with things and construct, apply everything that is good. Apply those to each other, and you can create good things and beautiful things. So think about what solo you like, how it feels. It takes you to a different place in your mind, and for a brief moment in time, and boom, you're back into reality. And just make the soundtrack of your life and how you want it to sound.